Hello, and welcome to another installment of the Pug's Thoughts in the Doghouse. I'm Pug, and here's what I'm thinking. I just got back from vacation. Some things that I got to do that involved sports was go to the Seattle Sounders FC New York Red Bulls match on Saturday. Unfortunately, the Sounders lost 1-0. And then I got to go to Vancouver to see the Vancouver Canucks clinch the Northwest Division of the National Hockey League against the Minnesota Wild in overtime 4-3. It was a lot of fun. I have a couple of announcements before we get this entry underway. First of all, the Pug's Thoughts in the Doghouse set a new record. That's right. The previous record for views in a week was 24. It is now 70. So I'd like to thank everybody who watched my last installment. That was the Charlie Whitehurst Seattle Seahawk entry. That leads to my second announcement, which is that entry got a lot of comments, and so therefore I'm going to be doing a couple more videos this week compared to once a week to respond to the comments. So I'm going to do 3 videos, including this one, this upcoming week. So watch out for that. The other thing is I like to thank Vloggers Forum for subscribing. Thank you very much. And once again, please check out my blog at cwupulsepug.blogspot.com. So on that note, let's go over what we're going to talk about today. I'm wearing my Husky stuff because this involves the NCAA at the Division I level. We're going to talk about the NCAA potentially expanding March Madness. But before we do, congratulations to the Duke Blue Devils defeating the Butler Bulldogs. Also, congratulations on the Butler Bulldogs for making it for the championship game for the first time. I didn't watch the game, but I heard it was a hell of a game, and so congratulations to both teams. While the tournament was going on, the NCAA started thinking about expanding this basketball tournament from 65 teams to 96 teams. This idea has caused a lot of controversy because a lot of fans and alumni feel the tournament would be too long and the student athletes are going to miss class as the tournament is going on. So, and people also feel that 65 teams is the right number of teams in this tournament. Now, this might surprise you, but I'm actually for the NCAA expanding this tournament. And I think this could be very beneficial in the long run compared to the short term for NCAA sports, fans, and the schools. So here are my responses to the complaints I've heard. Mainly I've heard them on the radio. I've heard a couple on TV and I've read some articles, but mainly I've heard them on the radio. So the first complaint I've heard is if the NCAA expands to 96 teams, the 96 team doesn't have a legitimate chance to go all the way. Well, this may be true, but does the 65th team have a chance to go all the way? I mean, like look at, for example, this year you had Winthrop and Arkansas Tech in the play-in game, and the winner got to play Duke. What a reward! So, I mean, yeah, of course, you know the lowest seed doesn't have a chance to go all the way, but then again, you could say that about any sport and any playoff system. So I really don't think it matters the fact that the 96th team can't potentially go all the way. I mean, of course on paper it's going to be a given. The lowest seed doesn't win the championship, which doesn't necessarily come true. So number 2 is the tournament will be too long. That's the second complaint. And my response to that is this: I've noticed something about fans, myself included. A good portion of fans that I know are always against expanding playoff tournaments. And then after a while, 2 things happen. 1, they either deal with the playoff system, or 2, it grows on them. Now, for example, I'll tell you what, I'll give you an example of this. Major League Baseball expanded to 8 playoff teams in the mid-90s, and they added a wild card, and they also added another division. Now, I believe that some baseball fans were really super ticked about this because it broke tradition, and they were thinking it would be terrible to add another playoff run. But look what the wild card has done for baseball. The wild card has given more drama in September before the wild card came into existence because a lot of teams are still fighting for a berth in the postseason. And also, we've had a lot of wildcard teams go to the World Series. Not necessarily won it, but go to the World Series. And the list includes the following teams: the 1997 Florida Marlins, 2000 New York Mets, 2002 Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and 2002 San Francisco Giants. You also had the 2003 Florida Marlins, 2004 Boston Red Sox, 2005 Houston Astros, 2006 Detroit Tigers, and 2007 Colorado Rockies. So if it hadn't been for the wild card, those teams may have not had great runs to the World Series. And also, other playoff tournaments are really long, and people seem to be okay with it. I mean, I personally think the NBA playoffs are too long, but you know, people get into that, and people love the NHL playoffs, even though it's best out of 7. So why not expand March Madness? You know, and also expanding the tournament is going to allow the NCAA and schools to get more money, and we live in a time where we're trying to get as much money as possible. So why not expand the tournament? Complaint number 3: expanding the tournament is going to take away upsets. I think there will actually be more upsets instead of less upsets, because right now there are a pile of Division I schools who don't even get the opportunity to play in the March Madness tournament because they play in weak conferences. So I think that you will see probably 12 seeds go down a little bit compared to 12 seeds over 5 seeds in the tournament now. But can you imagine like a 17 seed upsetting a number 1 seed, or a 20th seed upsetting a number 3 seed? I don't know. I mean, I think we could see a lot more upsets if you expand the tournament. And then finally, the last complaint, the big one, is expanding the tournament will cause student athletes to miss class. Now, this is my main reason why I'm for expanding the tournament. And you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, you're for students missing class? I am in this regard, because in college football, the NCAA and Bowl Championship Committee keep saying that they can't have a college football playoff system because students will miss class. Okay, now this is one of the many reasons why the BCS says you can't do a college football system. So in other words, the BCS and the NCAA are saying you can't do a football playoff system because students will miss class, yet students will be missing class during the March Madness tournament. So what the NCAA is really doing is shooting themselves in the foot, because they're kind of contradicting itself, and this could potentially lead to a college football playoff system, which everybody wants. It's another knock against the Bowl Championship Series, which is baloney. I'm not going to go into that. So expanding the March Madness tournament could potentially help toward a college football playoff system, because the students will be missing class during March Madness and not missing class during college football season. So, like I said, it contradicts itself. So that's the reason why I am I'm for the NCAA expanding to 96 teams in the future. We'll see what happens. Feel free to comment. I will get back to you, and you can comment. Once again, I don't know where this is on the internet anymore, so either here, or down here. And check out my blog at cwupulsepug.blogspot.com. Look out for more videos this week too, to respond to comments from my other posts. So thank you very much for watching this installment, and we'll see you next time on the Pug's Thoughts in the Doghouse.